Hello and welcome to Security. This is the continuation of the AWS hands-on labs, and today we're going to be looking at security groups. So security groups are the instance level firewall on AWS, and you can use them to allow ordinary traffic basically at the instance level. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I'll do is spin up an instance. I'll be using the Amazon Linux 2 MI, and I'll be using the T2 micro instance type. I'll click on next, configure instance details, and leave it in the default VPC. Just leave it to auto-assign subnet and auto-assign public IP address as well. So I'll go to next, leave storage as default, click on next. So I'm going to add a tag. So I'll just give it a name, and I'll give it the name SG NACL test, which is security group and network access control list. That's because I'm going to be using the same instance to demo network access control list in the next video. So now I'm going to create a new security group. I'll just give it the name ping access. So later on, I'm going to be allowing ping access to this instance, but for now I'm going to leave it blank. But this is how you do that to allow ping access. You select custom ICMP, and then you select the protocol as well and the source. But for now, I'm going to delete that role because I don't want any access to the instance for now. So I'm just going to click on review and launch, and I'll click on launch. So I'm going to use the same key from the last video and just launch. It says choose an existing key pair. Same key we created in the previous video. I'll click on launch. So now my instance is launched. So I'll click on view instances and I'll wait for it to finish booting up. So now my instance is booted up, and I can see it has a public IPv4 address, which means it's reachable over the internet. So now I click on connect and select the command and pull up my git bash to try and connect to the instance. But what we can see is that it is timing out. We're not able to connect to the instance because our security group is basically blocking access. So with security groups, any traffic that is not explicitly allowed is blocked by default. So because we've not allowed SSH traffic, it's being blocked by default. So what I'll do next is pull up my command prompt and try the same for pings. So I copy the public IP address and ping it. Let me just correct that. And the same thing, you can see because we've not explicitly allowed pings on our security groups, we've not added a rule to allow pings, it's being blocked. Just let this time out. So let's go now to our security group and add an inbound rule and observe the behavior. So I click on security groups. Then I select the security group ping access, which I just created. You can see some of the details like the ID, description, and the likes, but we don't need that for now. So now I click on inbound rules and edit inbound rules. So you can see for now we have no inbound rules. Click on add rule. So we're going to allow only ping requests. So for that, we don't need all ICMP. We need custom ICMP, and we'll select echo requests because we just want to allow ping requests. So for our source will be from anywhere, and we can save the row. Okay, so now we can see we have a new inbound rule. And now I can go back to my command prompt, and you can see we're getting ping replies from our instance, even if we just allowed only ping requests. This is so because security groups are stateful by default, and this means that when connections are, there's a rule that allows connections one way. The response to that connection also is allowed because the security groups keeps note of each connection that is allowed through it. So there's also an outbound rule that comes with security groups by default that allows all traffic to all destinations. But I'm going to delete that now to further demonstrate. to further demonstrate the statefulness of security groups. So you can see this default rule allows all traffic to all destinations by default, and yeah, this could also be, if security groups were not stateful, this could also be something that is allowing the ping replies. So I'm going to edit the outbound rules now and delete this rule. So I'll just click on delete to delete the rule, and then I save. So basically now we have no outbound rules, and we can check what happens when we ping the instance. So you can see that when we ping the instance, even when we don't have any outbound rules, we still get a response. And this happens because of the statefulness of the security groups that I just explained. So with no outbound rules, no traffic is allowed to originate from inside our instance. But if traffic is allowed to come in from the security group, because of the statefulness, the instance is also allowed to respond to that traffic. And that's why we're still getting our ping replies. So let us further demonstrate how outbound rules work using the SSH protocol. So we're going to connect to our instance using the SSH protocol. We'll add a rule, an inbound rule, to allow SSH connection from anywhere, and save it. So now we have a rule for both ICMP, that's pings, and for SSH. Next thing we'll do is to connect to our instance. So I'll just open up instances in a new tab. You can see my instance. I select it. Now I can click on connect to connect to it. So I'll pull up my git bash, and I'll just copy the command and paste it in to connect to my instance. So I'll just wait for it to connect. It seems to be timing out. I'll try again. Okay. It's connecting, but it's not responding anymore. I'll just clear my terminal and go check out the security group. Okay, back at the security group, you can see the outbound rules is still empty. So I'll just try connect again. So I paste the command in my git terminal again, and we are into the instance, even without any outbound rules. So, but what we can do now is we can try ping google.com from inside the instance, and we can see that because we don't have any outbound rules allowing ping traffic or any traffic at all, ping traffic from the instance is not reaching google.com. So the security group is basically blocking the instance from pinging the google.com website or even sending out any traffic at all. So no traffic is not allowed to originate from inside the instance, but the instance is allowed to respond to traffic that is allowed in by the security group. So if we add the rule back in the security group to allow for traffic, for all traffic, then we will be able to ping the google.com. So now we go back to outbound rules on our security group. Click on outbound rules. You can see it's empty. You just click on edit outbound rules. Click on add rule. And we're just going to allow all traffic from anywhere and save the rule. So now when we go back to our git bash and ping google.com, you see now we can get responses from google.com. So if you remember, we only allowed inbound ping requests, not responses, on our security group, but it's still allowing these responses from google.com because it is stateful and it's a connection that it already took note of and allowed. So it's allowing the response to it. So that's the end of the lab. In this lab, we've looked at how security groups operate on AWS, and we've demonstrated what the stateful nature of security groups looks like. In the next video, we're going to be looking into network access control list, which is another type of firewall on AWS, but this time on the subnet level. So I'm just going to clean up now, terminate my instance, and delete the security groups. As usual, if you're enjoying these videos or these videos are being helpful to you, please like and subscribe to support my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.